So Anita's going off that way with her friend Yvonne, and I'm going to go this way. And just this little bit of an area where we are, it's at the end of a street called Sindicato. That's Sindicato. It's a pedestrianised street, and Anita will be wandering along there. This particular little area is where a lot of the buses finish off, so it's a meeting point for us with Yvonne. Her bus stops here, our bus stops here, so it's quite a useful place to be. So I'm going to actually walk down this way and go towards what I refer to as the avenidas, the avenues. And we're just a little bit down from Plaza España, which is the other place where the intermodal bus station, train station is. You can see all of the buses coming in here. On the bus, if you're getting a bus and it's coming here, it will say Sindicaton. That's what the streets refer to, that's just behind me now. Sindicato. It's a hustly bustly time. Well, I said it was a bit cooler today, but it feels quite pleasant to me. Certainly just right for a walk, and the sun's shining. And we are in the middle of the city, so we've got city sorts of buildings. So we've got new buildings like the Bank Mark across the way there. And we've got these lovely old buildings with the iron balustrading and the circular balconies up there. Really quite nice. And just up there is El Corte Inglés, but I'm going to go down this way. No, sorry.
Speak English?
Yep.
I have a question, please. You are.
So we're just going off. You can see the buses coming through now. You have to be very careful, don't stand too close to the edge.
No.
And the little man's still red, so you're taking your life in your hands if you do cross then, because the cars are going to be whizzing around the corner. And he's now on green, so we can cross. So I was just stopped by someone who's first of all asked me if I spoke German, and then spoke to me in English, and it always worries me a little bit. I think he was either begging or he was going to steal something, so I just steer a little bit clear of those people. He didn't bother me any further, so it's not really any problem. So this is referred to as the avenidas, and very noisy because of all the traffic, of course. Lots of buses, lots of bus stops, lots of people, and lots of shops which are not in the centre of town, but there's still plenty of them. Not an area I do walk a great deal, so a little bit less familiar, but you'll see all of the building. And we met some people who were on holiday in Santa Ponsa the other day, and they referred to Mallorca as looking a little bit like New York. We've got some high-rise buildings. Well, I guess they're not quite that sort of building that you might find in New York, but we do have lots of big apartment buildings. And there's the green man again, across again. And just below us in the avenidas actually, completely underneath, is the car parks. So a few years ago they dug up all of these avenidas, all of these roads here, and they put car parks. So this is the entrance to one of them for us. We'll go down there. They're quite reasonable. Car parks here are not expensive, so it's where we park our car. You see a car coming out there. And they're just very convenient that they are in the middle of the town, but they're all underneath the avenidas. So vast amounts of this road were dug up for a year or two while they put these car parks in situ, and I think there's 2 floors of car parks all the way along. So lots and lots of parking down there. The way it works is you take a ticket on the way in, and then before you leave, you pay, and then you'll get out by presenting the ticket. Or if the number plate recognition's working, you don't even have to present the ticket, it'll just work, and the barrier opens up as long as you've paid. And it doesn't really cost too much at all. So you can see lots of shops on both sides, but very rarely walk on the far side, tend to be on this side of the road. I'm actually heading towards the sea now. I've still got another green man, so I'll take advantage of the green man while he's green. My guess is a lot of people who come on holiday won't actually walk to this part of Palma, so it's showing you somewhere different. In the middle of the road here, you can see lots of cars parked, and that's where the Saturday market used to be. So when we first came to Mallorca, we used to come to the Saturday market, which would be along there, and they'd have all sorts of things on sale. It was really a flea market. The flea market's now been moved out of Palma, and it's now in one of the industrial estates. So it's a shame really, because that was quite a nice thing to come and visit, and it sort of extended into the nearby streets. Just to my right, pink wall is actually a school. So behind there is a big school for Palma. It's quite nice. It's quite something different to walk along here, and there are lots of trees which are all starting to come into bud, and they will be giving you lots of sombra, shade. And just something of interest, if you're coming on holiday here and you're thinking of hiring a car, that's been really expensive over the past year or two. The hire cars, I don't think that's going to change. I think it's still going to be very expensive to hire a car. One thing that may have changed this year is the number of electric cars that are going to be for hire. And I'm guessing people might be a bit excited about hiring an electric car. I know certainly I would like to, because that's the future for me, I think. But if one was telling me that 40% of the cars that are going to be available from hire car companies have to be electric, so I suppose you stand a 4 in 10 chance of getting an electric car if you hire one. Which sounds great, it's good for the environment. There might be some downsides to it. I think everybody knows that there's a limit to the distance you can travel, and Mallorca probably is the perfect place to try out an electric car, because you can't travel very far, otherwise you get your feet wet. So So from that respect, it really is quite interesting. And there's a government building. Actually, I think this is to do with the armed forces. It used to be a place where you came to get maps of the island. If you wanted to get detailed maps, like the Ordnance Survey maps, this is where you used to have to come. That's a long time ago. Anyway, getting back to the cars. So if you're hiring a car, you may well find yourself with an electric car. And obviously you don't need to go to a petrol station to fill it up because it runs on electric. But you may, if you're going to drive it a lot, you're going to need to charge it up. And the issue is finding a charging point. Good news is, apparently many of them are free. You plug them in and you don't actually pay to get it charged. That sounds like a really good idea. And I didn't really, I half thought that, but I didn't know whether it was true or not. They may not all be free, but some of them for sure are. So that sounds good. Downside is there are not many charging points. If 100,000 cars are coming to the island for renting, that means there's going to be about 40,000 hire cars which are electric that are going to need to be charged. And Yvonne was talking to someone who is involved with this, and they said if you're going to Calador, for example, there is only one charging point. Well, another building, which is Ayuntamiento de Palma. This is the town hall office here, so if you want to get something done, this is one of the places you go to. For me, the only reason I've ever been here is for lost and found. I lost my keys to the car. And this is where they end up. If somebody finds keys, they will hand them in to the authorities. They will hold on to them for a little bit, but then they come here. And there's a place in the basement here where you can go and search through hundreds of keys to see if your keys are actually there. Sadly, mine were never there. And I went a couple of times, never retrieved my keys. It cost me about €100 to replace a key. Just looking now, we can see the sea, so you can see I've walked out from the centre of the city towards the sea. There's a big petrol station here, which is one of these which is, according to the authorities, is not legal. They've got to close. It's still here and it's still running. And then that's the way I'm going to go now. This is a little park area. It's all fenced off. Must be doing some work on it. I'm heading now into the old back streets. Just going to cross over because it might be a little bit better view from there. Yeah, it's all fenced off here. I'm obviously going to be doing some work. But now I'm heading into the back streets of Palma, and this is some of the really old areas. I'm leaving the noise behind me. That's the noise of the city. And I'm already seeing some interesting buildings here, some castellated building in front. Actually, there's an area down there that looks really interesting. I'm going to have to come back here again to have a look around that area. I just want to go into these back streets. Oh, just across the road, there's the Ministry of Defence. I hope I don't get arrested for videoing it. I didn't know that office was there. Delegación de Defensa. And it is a lot quieter now. Look at this old building here. Big old door. the crest above, and nothing really saying much about what it is, except unfortunately it's got a lot of stickers there. This is the Portal Barroco del Monasterio de Santa Catalina, so the entrance to the Santa Catalina monastery. You see all the big thick walls. Now we are getting really into some of the back streets of Palma, and you're going to see narrow streets, windy streets, definitely not made for cars, but full of interest. This street in front of us is referred to the Street of the Temple, Carrer del Temple, and lots of interesting turns. I'll just walk down here a little bit because we can see the front of this monasterio, and there's a little plaza here as well. She's got a lovely little fountain in the middle, another church at the end. And then just look at the architecture here, beautiful buildings. And then another church. Oh, I'm not going to go into that one, don't worry. I'm going to go back just the way I came. This is the church. This church here is called the Church of Saint Geronimo. But I'm going to walk up this Carrer del Temple because I've been looking at some of the pictures and some of the places in Palma, and there's a place just up here that's fascinated me a little bit. You can see both sides of the road we've got apartments where people live, and we're really in the old bit of Palma now. And here's the other Ayuntamiento. This is a town hall building, which is the social services centre for the old part of Palma. It's the building on the right that's fascinated me when I've looked it up. Because it's needing a little bit of help to stay up. It's got some graffiti. And yeah, they're doing lots of work there. But this apparently has got history going back hundreds of years. And it's called the Carrer del Temple because this is supposedly part of the Knights Templars fortifications here in Palma. Just going to go a little bit closer. I'm not sure whether you can visit this place or not. It doesn't look like it. Go through here. And this is the wall, defensive wall we were actually walking through. And I'll walk through it. There's another interesting door across there. Just looking on the other side. And undergoing quite a bit of restoration. Anyway, that's interesting bit of history for me. And I need to go and follow it up now. Find out a little bit more about it. barber shop. Places around here referred to as the temple. Lovely old archways leading to interiors, and just around here places you can go for coffee. This is the old bits of Palma, and some of the walls are exposed with some of the old advertisements. There's an old one for Pepsi Cola up there. Yes, this is the sort of old roads that I'm talking about, really narrow streets. Yeah, they've actually cleaned all of this area up since I was last here. And this actually is from 2007. I've never seen this before, never noticed it before. Jafuda Cresques. And more old, narrow, winding streets that you can wander down. Going in towards the centre of Palma. I'm going to carry down this one, which is a little bit more of a main road. Which is being cleaned up. Look, there's the people from the authorities just cleaning all the pavements. Side street.
Yeah, it's showing that she's still at home.
The building on the right is some sort of a cultural centre where they hold exhibitions, and been to a couple of exhibitions there. One of them was to do with the Beatles, and had lots of photographs of when the Beatles, in particular John Lennon, was here in Mallorca, and that was quite interesting. And then another thing we've seen here was a Masonic exhibition. Doing a great job cleaning the street. Spray my lens on the camera, so I hope it's not making too much of a mess of it. Lots of studenty types here. Actually, I think, private university for the tourism school. Not sure about that. Seem to remember Serena coming here. There's another interesting building. Fantastic building. Actually, this street is called Ramanu. We've been down here. In the next couple of weeks over Easter, there'll be all sorts of processions which will come through these streets, and here's one of the churches where one of the processions is going to be starting. Palma is actually full of beautiful churches, and this is one of them. But I'm not going to go into any churches today, so don't worry about that. But there's a part here, again on another occasion I'm going to do that visit, so there's a visit, you can go through there and the Basilica of Ramanyul. It's got to be interesting to me, as that's the name of my lodge. My Masonic lodge is the Ramanyul Lodge. And over here, might be of interest to some of the people from America who are watching, though he doesn't have a fantastic reputation over there. This is Junipero Serra, the founder really of San Francisco. So he traveled to America, but he was from Mallorca, and he is responsible partly for the Franciscan monks. So this is the area. That's a hotel in front there, by the way, the San Francisco Hotel. One of many in this area, a lot of little boutique hotels which are in the heart of the old part of Palma. So in the past I've actually been here when there's been a procession by the churches for the Easter parades, and they are something really special, and something I really wanted to do again this year, but unfortunately our Easter is going to be spent in the UK, so we're going to miss them all. So we'll have to do that on another occasion, but they'll come through these winding streets. This is Carrera de San Francisco, this is San Francisco Street. And when they do this, they're carrying these very, very heavy loads. The street cleaners are coming behind me. Look at these narrow, narrow streets. I'll go a little bit further this way. I'm going to be chased by a street cleaner by the sounds of things. This is a 5-star hotel. IT Cancera Mallorquin Luxury House. Very nice. Some really unexpected things when you start to come through the back streets of Palma, and we're only covering just a little bit of it here. There's lots of these little alleyways that you can walk through. And then you come across a supermarket. Everybody's got to do the shopping. That's a little bip supermarket. Get all your essentials. And this brings us out into another plaza, and another plaza means another church. And this is a big one. And this church we have been to on several occasions for concerts. There's people obviously going in for visits, and it's set with this square in the background and lots of places you can go for coffees. We're about to eat tapas. But that's the San Francisco Plaza de Santa Eulalia. Just at the end of this Carrera de San Francisco. And the roads there now leading up towards Plaza Mayor, Plaza España that way. And we're just heading now towards Plaza Court. And this is actually the back of the town hall for Palma. This is the main town hall, the Ayuntamiento de Palma. Just walk out into the middle of Plaza Court. So to my left is the Ayuntamiento. I'll go and cross the road here while I can. That's an ancient olive tree. That's biblical in its age. Maybe 2,000 years old. But here we've got right in front of us there now, Plaza Court. You can see the window cleaners cleaning the windows. So if we go down this way, down there is towards the cathedral and the Parliament buildings. And then if we go around this way, we've got Starbucks there. And if we go this way, we'll end up going towards Plaza Mayor, which is the way I intend to go. And another 5-star hotel here on the corner, which is the Hotel Cappuccino. There's the Hotel Cappuccino, 5 stars, and probably got 5-star prices too, but it's more of the old streets. And we're now in the shades. It's nice temperatures now. It did actually say on the weather forecast it was going to be 4 degrees cooler than yesterday. Yesterday was really quite warm, up about 23. So we're expecting temperatures about 18, 19 degrees today, which is really great temperatures for a walk. This is Carrer de Colom. More little alleyways all along. There's these little places you can go and do some exploration. There's a Casa Julio bar down there, which is a mini restaurant. Palma's just full of places to explore. "18 degrees, the sign on the pharmacy says, the chemist shop. 18 degrees, that's really quite pleasant. I'm still in long trousers. Though we do see quite a few people, certainly in Palma Nova yesterday, lots of people who were in shorts. This place is a cooperative shop here, and always fascinating for me. If you're looking for some different sorts of presents for children, then here you've got some traditional ones, but you get some different ones as well. And it's just one of the places we go to sometimes, looking for things for our grandchildren. Books, they'll all be in Spanish or Catalan. Lots of arty crafty type things though, which I'm very well into. Jigsaws and the like. So I'm just going to actually go down this one because some people were asking me about Anita's parasol. And this is where she bought it. If I can remember whether I've got to turn left or right at the end of this little alleyway. It's just down here. Yeah. I can see an umbrella outside, so I know I'm in the right direction. This is, you see, another pedestrianised area for shopping. This is, I'm going to do a 180. I'm going to turn around in a minute and go back up towards Plaza Mayor. I'll get my degrees right this time. I was getting my 360s and 180s confused in a different video. So I'm going to do a 90 degree now. You ready? Ready? 90 degrees. So this is a shop that sells things like fans, shawls, black shawls there, white shawls, nice brooches. But they also sell parasols, so lots of umbrellas, but at the back they do have parasols, and nice traditional sort of present there, some castanets, gloves with fingers, without fingers, wallets. It's a bit of a quality shop, this is you get things which have got a nice bit of quality to them. But this is where Anita bought one of her parasols from, and they did have quite a selection, so I think they're probably at the back there. And they did have not only white, you could have had a black one, but I don't think a black parasol was really in keeping. She's going to do away with me. So I'm heading now towards Plaza Mayor, so just for those people who want to get their bearings. The shop is called Paraguas. Paraguas just means umbrellas. So there it is, Paraguas, and it's number 22A on this street, which I'm not quite sure. I'll have to get to the end to find out what the name of this one is. Heading up towards Plaza Mayor. I've started making a lot more 360 videos, and I know some people love them, some people hate them. They take a little bit of getting used to, but with a 360 video you can see everything forwards, behind, up and down. You can see everything that I'm not pointing the camera at. So here I'm pointing the camera, quite a nice display in the window, but with a 360 you could be looking in the windows across the way. And because you can pause the video, you can just pause it and then look around. And that's all on the 360 channel. So I've done it on a separate channel because otherwise it does create some confusion, and so I just decided I would keep them separate. It's one of the horses and traps. You can have a tour. And you can see this is where the road actually divides. That one goes down to Plaza Court, and then that one goes down to the Paraguas. This road is called Jaume 2, Jaume Dos, Carrera de Jaume Dos. And I'm just going to cross over because it's just some beautiful architecture. If you're in Palma, don't keep looking at your feet. Sometimes you just need to turn around and look up and see the wonderful buildings. This is sort of Gaudi-esque. But really beautiful architecture, still nicely preserved. And right in front of us, in front of the van there, which is Maya, they're the street cleaners and the like. This is coming now up to Plaza Mayor, and here's a Hard Rock cafe shop. So they're doing some work here. was having to dig up some of the paving slabs. I did read in the week that one of these metal grids that you can see here, this is a Hesse, this is gas and electricity, but in the middle of one of the streets a lady tripped over one of these which was raised 1.5 centimetres, and she managed to claim a €70,000 compensation for her damages when she fell over it. Whew. We've got lots of street artists here who all write names, do cartoons. So here's one doing names. And then we enter Plaza Mayor. So all cities in Spain have a Plaza Mayor and a Plaza España, at least most do. And this is the one for Palma. And lots of things happen in here, so you can see some street marketing type things here. But they will put stages up here, and they'll have concerts in here. There's restaurants all around. Came here a few weeks ago, and there was a chess competition here. It's really a place of interest, and sometimes there is something going on, sometimes there isn't. You might notice there's a couple of stairways that go down. They actually take you down into a car park. So there's a multi-level car park down below us, and there used to be a gallery with shops, and that closed a few years ago, I think pre-COVID now, and there's never been opened up again. There's been all sorts of suggestions of what they're going to do, but they never actually got around to doing it. I've done almost a full circle because the entrance to Plaza Mayor on that side is from Calle Sindicato, and that's really pretty much where I started. The walk near to Sindicato, that's where the buses were, and it's where I left Anita. Where Anita is at the moment, I've got no idea, but we've arranged to meet in Plaza España, and well, I've got plenty of time to get there, so I've got opportunity to do a little bit more of a walk. And there's a group of students over there receiving a little bit of instruction. It's always good to see. There's an ex-teacher. And I posted something up on Facebook this week, which was a picture of Richard Feynman. Richard Feynman is one of my heroes, if you like. He was a physicist, an American physicist, but a brilliant educator, brilliant teacher. And he said that students don't actually need teachers who are absolutely perfect. They need teachers who are happy, and teachers who encourage students to enjoy education, so that they learn more of their own willingness. And I so much agree with him. He was a great man, and he had managed to explain some of the most complicated physics in the most simplest of ways. He wrote a set of lectures, the Feynman lectures, which are printed in 3 hardback books. I think that's how many I have somewhere, where he explains some of the most complex physics with his diagrams. But he's right, the teacher doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be a fantastic person, but he needs to be happy and encourage the students to want to continue to do some learning. I was here a few weeks ago, and there was another student body queued up outside the museum. This is the Juan Huach Foundation, this is their museum, and it's one of the places which is on my list of places to go to. I keep forgetting the entrance is free, so all the more reason to go. So Anita's has lots of things that she wants to do, so I'll actually try and squeeze some of these things in that I want to do. I don't know, maybe Anita might be interested in coming for a walk around the museum. But but lots of tourists around now. It's still only March. There's a camper shop. Get your shoes there. This street we're walking down now is called San Miguel, or Sant Miquel, to give it its Catalan, Mallorquin spelling. So this is the Basilica of Sant Miguel, Sant Miquel. Here's a shop of embroidery, bordados, from Valdemosa, and beautiful things you can have there that are embroidered, and some of the typical patterns here on the shopping bags. You can see some beautiful embroidery, and I think that probably isn't machine embroidery. I used to do machine embroidery. I had a machine which would do the embroidery for me. I just had to program it. Well, I don't think I've seen so many tourist groups here for a long time. So people being explained to. A little bit of well, 11:35 and 18 degrees, so confirmation. I've seen 2 thermometers now that have told me it's 18 degrees. Another group of people being shown around Palma. Wow, and there's a lot of them. I did see that in the paper today that Immerso is a government-run organisation for getting people to travel around the country and stay in hotels. And the hotels in Mallorca have not really been very forthcoming with offering places because they don't get paid enough. So the payment's gone up from something like 23 euros to 25 euros per stay, per night, per person, which really isn't very much money. That's all the hotel gets for this. But it helps them to stay open in the winter time. And apparently some of the hotels here in Mallorca are going to take it up for 23, 24. So we might see even more Spanish nationals coming on holiday here next year. These places are limited. I think they sell out very, very quickly. So they're not open to most travellers. So you've got to have a Spanish residency here. So I guess we could go on them. I'd have to look into that, but I've seen in the past that they'll go on sale at 9 o'clock, and by 9:10 they've sold all of them. So not necessarily easy to get. Well, I'm glad I didn't put a jacket on. Anita did persuade me to put a jumper in my bag, so I am actually carrying a jumper, but I'm not needing it at all. And I am very comfortable just walking around in my shirt sleeves. And just looking across the way, there's a bit of work going on. This is actually the Cappuccino Cafe in Palma, and it's quite a nice place if you want to go somewhere a little bit special for a coffee. Through the glass door there, they've got a courtyard, and normally very nice and quiet and peaceful place, and certainly very nicely decorated. At the moment, well, it might be a bit noisy. ambulance here. Not sure what that's about. Always a little bit sad when you see an ambulance in a street like this. It means somebody's not very well. Nice artwork on display. And we're just heading now towards Plaza España, which is under construction now and is going to continue to be under construction for several months. It's a pity they couldn't have organised this a little bit better, so it was done more in the winter time and then done in different stages. But it's still open, but they've started digging down and they've found within centimetres of the surface, they've found some historic relics, old walls which are of interest, so the archaeologists have had to come in. And just to point out, there's some yellow markings on the floor here. This is because the bars are allowed to use part of the paving area for their terrace, and so within this yellow dotted area is where the tables and chairs can be. So looking across the road there, you can see more of them. The tables and chairs have to be within that area. The bars have been complaining a little bit because apparently when they came round, they've actually reduced the size of the area that they can put the tables and chairs, and obviously that limits the amount of places that they can accommodate, therefore the amount of money that they're going to make, which at these times is really difficult because the businesses are really struggling here because of the high cost of rent, both for the premises where they're actually working, the high cost of energy, the high cost of getting people to come and work here. There seems to be an unwillingness actually for people from the mainland to come and work in Mallorca, simply because it's just too expensive. So where in the past people have come here and worked for months at a time during the summer, so now they're not coming here because it's just too expensive to try and find somewhere to rent during the summer months. So that's a big problem for the bars, for the restaurants, for the hotels. Some of the hotels are actually providing some of their own accommodation, so they are providing rooms within the hotel so that they can accommodate some of their workers. I think that may be something that more places are going to have to think about. More businesses, if they're going to attract people to come here, are going to need to provide accommodation one way or another. I'm still not sure how they're going to do that. The government, for their part, are trying to encourage builders to build houses at a reasonable price so that people can afford them, and there's certain making rules so they have to make some affordable housing. How well that's going to work, I'm really not quite so sure. So this is Plaza España, and you can see there's lots of work going on, and hopefully it will get done very soon. It really is necessary. If we just look down at the paving area, this looks like slate to me. Great stone to use, but it's very flat, but it's also cracks and breaks quite easily, especially when you drive trucks over it, which is what happens unfortunately on here. And some of them have been replaced just by cement or cement paving stones, and obviously doesn't look very good. And we're in a holiday area, we want to look our best. And me over there looking down on us is saying, you get your job done. So I've now done almost the perfect circle. We're back to the Avenidas. We're at the intermodal station almost, which is just across the road. And that's where you would get the bus or the train to different places. Lots of the bus stops are on the top here. And if you're getting to the airport, I'm just in time because there's A1, and it's probably the cheapest way to get to the airport. You get on a bus, and with your credit card or your debit card, you just tap on. And with the EMT ones, that's these blue, white and green ones, you just tap on, and that's it. It takes you to the airport. We used that on our last trip, and it worked perfectly. Very, very efficient. We got there as quickly, I think, or almost as quickly as going by car and parking the car and getting the bus to take us from the car park to the airport. I don't think there would have been very much in the way that's going to be different. For our next trip, though, we have a very early flight. Our flight's going to be 7 o'clock in the morning, so we're going to be at the airport for probably 5 o'clock. And there's no way we're going to get a bus at 5 o'clock in the morning, so we're not going to take the car because it would mean leaving the car at the airport for too long. We'll just get a taxi, I think, and the taxi will come and it'll take us 20 or 30 minutes to get to the airport, and then we don't need to worry about it. Coming back, well, we've got options then. We can catch the bus, or we can get a taxi, or maybe our son will come and pick us up and see. Noticed a sign up there that says free Wi-Fi connections. So we're in the Ayuntamiento de Palma. They're offering free Wi-Fi. If you're staying in the Palma Nova area, or Magaluf, or Santa Ponsa, or Peguera, then it's not the A1 bus you want, it's the A11 bus, and that doesn't actually start until the 1st of April. So from the 1st of April, buses will be starting then. The A11 bus will be starting, and that's my plan to go and try it out. So show you what the experience is, how it works, and well, certainly for Palma Nova, show you where the bus stop is. Actually several bus stops, but one of the issues I was told was that it does get full, particularly in the higher season. So maybe in April it might not be so bad, or May even, but when we get to June, July, it's going to get a little bit busier. So I've just crossed over to the intermodal station. There's a cafe over there, look, and this is where the park is. And I've got about half an hour or so to wait for Anita, so I'm actually going to find somewhere to sit in the park and catch up. Maybe find a little bit of shade. So I've really enjoyed my little walk around Palma today. It's been lovely temperature, perfect for a walk. And there you go, look at all the horrible graffiti. There's nice graffiti, there's horrible graffiti, and there's some horrible graffiti. This is at the intermodal station. Anyway, I'll be waiting for Anita now, and that's it from me. Thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you in our next video, wherever that may be. Bye for now.